Hey Snyder cult tards, gag on my King Kong Mandingo because y'all are going through it. So Ben Affleck recently did an interview with GQ where he talks about what went wrong with his Batman. And here's what he had to say, quote, "It started to skew too old for a big part of the audience. Like even my own son at the time was too scared to watch the movie. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, we have a problem." Then I think that's when you had a filmmaker that wanted to continue down that road and a studio that wanted to recapture all the younger audience at cross purposes. Then you have two entities, two people really wanting to do something different, and that is a really bad recipe. Now, listen, I love Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's Batman is my favorite live action adaptation. Now, granted, I understand why Ben Affleck's Batman is very, very divisive because you had his Batman basically becoming the Punisher. It's like, hey, I dug it, but a lot of people did not like it. And again, it goes to show you that audiences did not like Snyder's interpretation of these characters. The movie was too dark. The movie was too depressing. It was oppressively depressing. And it goes to show that audiences don't want that. Audiences want to watch a superhero film that's enjoyable, that they can take their families to, that they want to have a good time watching it. When you watch Batman v Superman, you're not having a, excuse me, you're not having a good time. You're like, this is sad. It's sad, it's long, it's boring. Superman acts like an emo 12-year-old. Why is Batman murdering people? And why is Superman dead at the end of this film? And where did Wonder Woman come from? And that whole Flash sequence with the nightmare timeline. What the hell is going on? Like, people were confused watching that, and that's why it's one of the main reasons why Batman v Superman failed. It's one of the many reasons why Man of Steel failed. That tone was way too overwrought and with seriousness and dour, and everything's bleak. The coloring is gray and dark, and everyone's depressing and everyone's sad and just like, oh my God, can someone just make a joke for the love of God for my sanity here? And that's why ultimately it didn't work. And I feel bad because Ben Affleck in a way is kind of, throwing Zack Snyder under the bus. Which is like, hey, Zack Snyder, I really didn't like your interpretation on Batman. I didn't really like portraying that Batman, but I'm not gonna say it so bluntly. So I'll just, I'll just skirt around the question and give my answer that won't offend anyone. Same thing with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill did not like Zack Snyder's interpretation of Superman. Henry Cavill has been on record saying that his Superman was way too dark, was way too dour, was way too serious, and he wanted his Superman to be more like the David Cornsweet version that we are going to get on July 11th. And I can't wait for that. And and Henry Cavill, he liked the Joss Whedon version, which is more the optimistic, uplifting take on Superman. And Henry Cavill, not so subtly, kind of threw Zack Snyder again under the bus. So you have two actors from your Snyderverse who are not really happy with your interpretation, which is why, again, I've said this 1,000 times, Snyderverse is never going to happen. And that's why I left the Snyder cult, because they are literally a cult. They live in delusion. Even now, they're like, well, WB forced Ben Affleck to say these things about Zack Snyder and him not wanting to return as Batman. And if Zack Snyder called, Ben Affleck would answer the call and he would return. And I'm just like, oh my God, these people are delusional. They are delusional, and it's sad to see. That's why I left the Snyder cult. People talk about like, truth. You turned your back on Zack Snyder. Yeah, you're damn right, because you people got weird. And it just became too cultish, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, listen, I like Zack Snyder, but damn, like y'all are turning into a Jared Leto church cult, and I want no part of it. Which is why when I left, I was the best Snyderverse commentator in that era, and when I left, that whole shit that the whole DC Snyderverse YouTube community, it went downhill because I left. And you see it now with these dumbass YouTubers saying like, oh yeah, the Snyderverse is returning and Zack Snyder's gonna come back. Like, yeah, okay. Good luck with that. Talk to me in 20 years, bro, because that shit's not happening. And yeah, as soon as I left, that whole Snyderverse community went downhill and y'all got weird. So that's why I'm excited for this new DC. I'm excited for this new regime under James Gunn and Peter Safran. And that's why I'm excited for Superman, the David Cornsweet Superman on July 11th, because that's Superman that audiences are hungry for. We want the more optimistic, lighthearted Superman and not this dour My Chemical Romance version of Henry Cavill who's sad all the time and murders people. Like, we don't want that. So yeah, I feel bad for the Snyder Cult. No, not really. I hate them. And I'm glad that they're suffering. And I'm glad that they're still living in their delusional world where so the Snyderverse is going to happen. I promise you. I promise you. Yeah, okay. Why don't you promise me and go see a fucking shrink? How about that? Promise me that. Promise me psychiatric help. Because y'all need it badly. So that's going to be it. Hit like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, because this is that shit comments below. Let me know what your thoughts on Ben Affleck. Honestly, I'm happy for Ben Affleck. I'm happy that, you know, his mindset really wasn't into making this continuing any further, and he just wanted out. He's just done with superhero genres overall. So I'm happy for him, and I will continue to support Ben Affleck in anything that he does, whether it's behind the camera or in front of the camera. So hashtag thank you, Ben Affleck. You were a great Batman. Love you all. Stay safe. Truth out.
Nigga.